It's the most wonderful time of the year. We're all inside to stay away from the cold weather, and probably a few other reasons. But that leads you to wonder, what should you do with your lovely lady on a cold winter's night? Well, the answer is obvious. Mark out 6 feet of space separating you on the couch, and then get on some Netflix and chill. I'm not totally sure how you chill in that way while you're 6 feet apart. I'd like to say I'm enough to chill 6 feet away, but that's probably not true. Anyways, you may say, Agent Jim Shorts, what should we binge on this cold winter's eve? She's already made me watch 7 romantic comedies, and I think I'm going to lose my mind if one more couple has a meet cute on my television screen. Well, fear not, good sir. I have just the Christmas gift for you. Your gift is a list of animated shows that you can actually binge with your girlfriend. Also, while we're in the giving mood, it'd be a fabulous holiday treat if you could all take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you were unaware, every time you hit the bell icon, an angel gets its wings. Yes, I'm very sure that is accurate. Also, comment below on what you think the #1 pick of today's video is. Anyways, enough of this Christmassy bit. I'm kind of over the voice, so let's get on with it. Coming in at number 5 on our list of animated shows is Harley Quinn, the animated series. If you're trying to convince your lady to watch a nerdy animated show with you, Harley Quinn is a pretty good start. The character is super mainstream right now, and there's a good chance she'll at least give it a shot. If she does, you've already won, because this show is amazing. It has a great combination of humor, violence, and fun storytelling. The show has Batman, the Justice League, and other great characters in it, but they're not the main focus of the show. In fact, they'll only make some periodic appearances throughout this entire series. The show focuses on Harley Quinn and her finally standing up to the Joker and striking out as her own person. She develops a whole crew, fights people, and a lot of other fun stuff. The whole show is just a wild ride that never touches the brakes and just keeps going faster and faster. Some notable voices of the show are Kaylee Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory, who plays Harley Quinn, Lake Bell as Poison Ivy, and Arrested Development's own Tony Hale as Felix Faust. Outside of this great cast is a really good art design, as well as compelling character arcs for Harley. For as silly and off-color as this show can be, it really does an incredible job of sliding in good character development and dynamic characterization. We see this in all the characters ranging from Harley herself all the way to Batman and his periodic appearances. All that said, this is an amazing starter show that can potentially get your significant other to stick their toe in the proverbial waters of animation and comic books. A great show to get this non-nerdy person in there in a non-threatening way is the 4th show on our list, Disenchantment. I actually talked about this show in a previous video, but I couldn't bring myself to leave it off this list. I just think it's an incredible show for nerds and normies alike. It's written by Simpsons creator and time traveler Matt Groening. This is a pretty big endorsement in and of itself, but this has more to offer than just some Simpsons knockoff. It does an amazing job of exploring some common fantasy tropes in a more grown-up fashion, while still having the ridiculous nature of many adult animated shows. Our main character, Princess Bean, is struggling to accept her place as the heir to the throne, and doesn't just want to be married off to some guy as part of a political alliance. She'd rather go out and drink with her friends and have adventures than sit around and live a life of luxury in the royal court. Outside of Bean, we have my 2 favorite characters who really steal the show, Elfo the Elf and Lucy the Demon. They have an amazing dynamic and they become beloved characters throughout the series. Lucy is always trying to convince Bean to get into trouble and do nefarious things, while Elfo functions as her conscience of sorts and is always trying to be nice to everyone to the point where it's really annoying. These 3 characters make up the main gang of the show and cause some amazing laughs and good times. That said, I think what's underrated about this show is under all the silly humor and funny artwork, this show actually can attempt to tackle some really complex issues that a lesser show would just avoid altogether. These more nuanced themes give this show a bit more of an ambitious feel than most animated shows would ever even attempt to do. All in all, I love this show, and season 3 is supposedly coming out anytime now, so grab your partner and get to watching. Alright, so the first 2 shows on this list are fairly tame. Harley Quinn is a fun bad girl character that many people enjoy, and Disenchanted is a more mainstream styled show that's close enough to things like The Simpsons and even Game of Thrones that people are willing to give it a try. Number 3 on our list, on the other hand, has no such luck. This show is way out of left field for most normal people. So I must warn you, it'll take some convincing, but it is totally worth it. And this 3rd show is My Hero Academia. I know, you're saying, AGS, what? You want us to watch anime? Are you high? And while that last point is irrelevant, I think this is one anime show that's worth the watch. If you're looking for some selling points, here's the quick cliff notes. Think Spider-Man meets Harry Potter meets the Avengers. It's a show where just about everyone in the world has superpowers, and it kind of takes a look at how life would be affected by such a thing. Our main character is just a young kid who wants nothing more than to be the greatest hero of all time, but he's a pretty big underdog. In order to have a chance at his dream, he must get into one of the best hero schools in the world. Yes, you heard me correctly, hero school. This is kind of where the Harry Potter Hogwarts comparison comes in. UA High School is a school full of young students with supernatural abilities, and they're all trying to better themselves and fight evil at the same time. But they're not always fully prepared for these challenges that have been thrown their way. There's a lot of fun and growth and interesting characters in UA High School, and this show has a lot of really interesting villains that make the show very compelling. My closing remarks on this show is, don't consider this an anime, consider this a superhero story with a fun character who gives off Peter Parker type vibes. You may have to pull out all the stops on this one. Actually, pulling out is always a good idea. But anyway, if you can manage to convince your significant other to join you in binging this show, the two of you will be in for such a fun, awesome ride. Number 2 on our list is an absolute no-brainer, and that's Rick and Morty. I mean, come on, what else do we need to say? Rick and Morty's awesome. What you have going for you here is this is a very mainstream show, so your girlfriend may be willing to give it a shot because she's seen it around. On the other hand, one of your bigger obstacles is that this has a really weird art style. Take those 2 points and combine it with some pathetic begging, and you'll probably get a chance to watch this legendary series on date night. If you somehow missed Rick and Morty, let me tell you why you need to watch this show. It's a dark comedy written by Justin Roiland and community writer Dan Harmon. The show was originally made to be a parody of Doc and Marty from Back to the Future, but it later evolved into what we now know as Rick and Morty. Rick is Morty's absentee grandfather who's recently come back into his family's life. Rick is a super genius and he can pretty much go anywhere and do anything that he wants to do. He can travel through dimensions, stick mega seeds up his grandson's butt, build killer robots while getting drunk at the same time. He always drags his grandson Morty along on all of his crazy adventures, and the pair often find themselves in a lot of trouble. Outside of this kind of odd premise, the show is actually incredibly smart. The writers work tirelessly to make insightful points on life in the universe itself, while still interweaving a funny and interesting story throughout all of these insane settings and ideas. It's remarkable to see the time and care this creative team put into this show, and it's really apparent when you watch the finished product. While this does mean the show comes out at an incredibly random pace, the wait and anticipation are well worth it. So what are you waiting for? Just go on and get Swifty already and watch Rick and Morty. Like, come on man, just put it on and make her watch it. You should have the remote anyways. If you don't have the remote, then what are you even doing? Your relationship's doomed. That's actually a direct quote from my uncle when I was getting ready to be married. So, FYI. Anyway, we made it to number 1 on the list. And if you thought about this at all, you had to come up with this one. First place of the animated shows to binge with your girlfriend goes to Avatar: The Last Airbender. This show is a timeless treasure that everyone should watch. The story, the characters, the world building, they're all so fantastic, I just can't get enough. While The Legend of Korra is alright as a sequel series, the original show is on a whole nother level. If you're unfamiliar with this show, the people of this world are divided up into 4 tribes.
Water, earth, fire, air.
People born in each tribe have the potential to be born with the ability to bend their genealogical element. For example, if you were part of the water tribe, you'd have a chance of becoming a waterbender. This would mean that you'd be able to control water and manipulate it in incredible ways. Each tribe can bend a different element, but they can each only bend their own element. There is, of course, one exception to this, and that is the Avatar. The Avatar is a spiritual being that is meant to be the servant and guardian for the 4 nations. This individual can bend all 4 elements in the hopes of keeping peace and prosperity around the world. Unfortunately, the newest Avatar went missing for 100 years, and a civil war erupted in his absence. This sets the stage for some incredible stories and battles, as well as fantastic character arcs and just overall great storytelling. Even if you didn't watch this as a kid, I don't think it's possible to watch this show all the way through and not feel an emotional connection to this story. It's just so simple, yet complicated, yet powerful, yet gentle, in a way that makes you really invested in this entire world and story. I guarantee that if you watch this with your lady, the 2 of you will have a new favorite series in no time at all. And you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, it'd be great if you could take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I mean, like, come on. If you made it all the way to this part of the video, like, we've been here for a bit, I mean, you clearly liked it, man. Like, it's just deal with it. You like it, you should subscribe. Either that or autoplay was on and you forgot this was playing. But if you're listening right now, either way, you should subscribe. Anyway, if you want more Agent Jim Shorts content, be sure to check me out on Instagram and follow me there. We have a great time over there, and I think you guys would love it too. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, don't forget to stay frosty.